Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Today we are reviewing part 2 of Elizabeth of York, The Last White Rose by Alison Weir. I have a whole playlist dedicated to Alison Weir's books, so check it out after this video. Elizabeth is now at the court of her uncle, and she is very wary of Richard, but her Aunt Anne Neville is very kind to her, though it is apparent to everyone that Anne Neville did not take the death of her son well, and that she herself is dying. During her time at court, Bessie has been avoiding Richard, but he finally corners her and declares that he did not kill her brothers, they just disappeared. Bessie then asks him to produce proof of her bastardy, which he cannot, and now she cannot fully believe him. There is no proof of her bastardy, and there is no proof that he did not kill her brothers. Due in part to Bessie and her sisters' good behaviour at court, their mother, Elizabeth Woodville, is released to house arrest in a small house in the country. The girls get to go home and be with their mother, which is a relief because the court is very tense. But they are soon summoned back to court for Christmas, where Anne Neville is openly on her last legs. Richard starts being very inappropriate with Bessie, and it seems to hurt Anne's feelings, and Bessie feels incredibly uncomfortable. Finally, Richard comes clean, telling Bessie that he plans to marry her soon after his wife Anne's death. Bessie thinks the whole situation about marrying her uncle is very weird, but believes it is her only chance to save her family and not be married to a nobody like her sister Cecily. After Anne's death, all the girls leave court, and not long after, Bessie hears reports that Richard is planning to marry a Portuguese princess. She is completely devastated, and that is when she vehemently starts plotting for Henry Tudor and links up with his stepfather, Lord Stanley. Apart from being taken into custody by Richard, Bessie has little to do with Henry's invasion, and is very relieved when Henry wins, because Richard may have not taken Bessie's letter-writing campaign lightly. Bessie is also relieved to get back to London and be reunited with her mother and sisters, but more relieved than ever that she finds Henry Tudor attractive. Funny and very courteous, she can also see in his eyes that he finds her attractive as well. One thing that irritates Bessie about Henry Tudor is that he doesn't see her as a joint sovereign. Though Bessie foresaw a Ferdinand and Isabella type deal, Bessie had little to do with Henry's actual invasion, apart from her letter-writing campaign, and I think she overestimated what Henry would think she was entitled to. He sees himself as a king by conquest. Bessie makes her peace with her situation, though, and awaits her marriage eagerly. However, Elizabeth Woodville is not happy with Bessie having little actual power, and it becomes a sore point in the mother-daughter relationship because Elizabeth Woodville thinks that Bessie should be a reigning queen. It also becomes apparent to Bessie that now there will always be some uneasiness between her and her York family because she is firmly embedded in the Lancastrian camp. Bessie gets married in a huge round of celebrations and very quickly becomes pregnant, much to everybody's joy. Not long after, though, there is the beginning of a rebellion against Henry, and these rebellions go on for the rest of Bessie's life sporadically. When Prince Arthur is born early and small, Bessie has problems connecting with him. She thinks it is because he will be king one day and never truly belong to her, but I feel it has more to do with Bessie losing her brothers, and the pain she experienced from that makes her bonding with her oldest son difficult because she is scared that something will happen to him and she will be hurt all over again. Truly, the book could end here because all the interesting stuff is over. The babies come thick and fast, and it is very obvious Bessie's favourite child is little Harry, who will grow up to become Henry VIII. I spent a lot of time during this latter part of the book looking forward to the Lambert Simnel and Perkin Warbeck plots, but these plots go nowhere. Bessie thinks, after seeing Perkin Warbeck, he could maybe be her father's bastard, fathered while he was in Flanders. But we don't get any interactions between Bessie and Mr. Warbeck. Bessie gets some closure towards the end of the book surrounding the fate of her brothers, but I feel Alison Weir could have done much more with the mystery. She wove a very long, interesting yarn when it came to Anna of Cliffa. Why couldn't she have done something even remotely similar here? I know she tries to stick to actual fact, but the actual fact is the end of this book is very dull and I felt let down. I did enjoy the fact that Bessie got a proper Alison Weir death scene though. No cutting to black for her. The beginning of this book though is very strong, and I did make it the whole way through without putting it down, so I give it 7 out of 10. However, maybe I'm being a little bit generous. This is the end of this review. Make sure and come back next week where I will be ranking the Alison Weir books from the 6 Tudor Queen series, worst to best. Until next time, stay humble and reverent.